I need you to understand something before we go anywhere else in this reading. What I'm about to tell you is not something I say often. Not because I'm holding back, not because I'm being cautious with my words, but because what I'm seeing around your energy right now is specific enough and clear enough and significant enough that I want to make sure every single word I use actually matches what Spirit is showing me. No inflation, no filling space with impressive sounding uncertainty, just what is actually there. And what is actually there is this: commitment is coming into your life, real commitment, the kind with weight to it, the kind that changes the practical daily texture of your existence rather than simply the way you feel about someone in private. The kind that gets named and chosen and built on, not implied, not assumed, not left floating in the undefined space that has been exhausting you both. That kind of commitment. And it is closer to you right now than it has ever been. I want to stay with that for a moment before we go into anything else, because I think the word commitment can mean different things to different people, and I want to be precise about what I'm seeing. I'm not seeing a gesture, I'm not seeing a conversation that circles the idea without landing on it. I'm not seeing a soft, almost commitment that feels significant in the moment but dissolves when tested by actual circumstances. I'm seeing a decision, a real one, made by someone who has taken the time, more time than you probably know, to arrive at it fully, to examine it from every angle, to ask themselves the hard questions and sit with the honest answers, and to conclude clearly, without reservation, that you are the person they want to build something with, not in theory, in practice. In the actual daily, this is my life sense, that conclusion has been reached. What is coming now is the expression of it. Before we go deeper, if something in your chest just shifted when I said that, if something that has been tense for a long time released slightly at those words, hit that like button, subscribe to this channel, and drop the word committed in the comments right now. Because that is what is moving toward you. That is what Spirit keeps showing me every time I tune into the energy of the person watching this. Not almost, not soon, maybe. Um, Committed, fully, completely, for real. Let's go into the reading. The first thing I'm seeing how long this has been building. The first thing Spirit showed me when I connected to your energy today was not the commitment itself, it was the history underneath it, the length and texture of the road that has led to this moment. And I want to describe it because I think you need to understand that what is coming is not sudden. It only appears sudden from the outside. There is someone in your life, and most of you watching this know exactly who I'm talking about. There is a face that appeared in your mind before I even finished that sentence, who has been in a process, a long one, a process of understanding what they want, understanding what they feel, understanding what their life looks like with you fully in it versus what it looks like without you, and reckoning honestly with the difference between those two pictures. That reckoning is not new. It has been underway for longer than they've let you see, longer, possibly, than they've even fully admitted to themselves. Because reckoning with what you truly want when what you truly want requires vulnerability, requires choosing, requires putting something real on the line, is not a quick process for people who feel things deeply and take commitments seriously. And This person takes commitment seriously. That is actually the reason the clarity took as long as it did. Not because they were uncertain about you, because they were certain enough about you to understand the weight of what choosing you fully would mean. And they wanted to be sure, absolutely, completely, no lingering doubt, sure before they brought that weight to you. They are sure now. What I'm seeing in the energy is someone who has arrived at the other end of that long internal process and is standing at the place where the internal conclusion needs to become an external one, where what has been known privately needs to become known between you, where the decision that has been made in the quiet of their own experience needs to be made real in the shared space of your connection. That translation from private knowing to shared reality is what is imminent. That is the commitment that is coming, not a new feeling discovering itself, a long held truth finally finding its voice. The second thing I'm seeing what has been holding it. Now I want to address the question you've probably been living with for a while. Maybe the question that has been the quiet background noise of your experience with this person or this situation for longer than felt comfortable. Why hasn't it happened yet? And I want to answer that question honestly because you deserve an honest answer rather than a vague reassurance that everything happens in divine timing without any explanation of what that actually means. What I'm seeing, what has been creating the gap between where this person's heart has been and where the commitment has been, is not lack of feeling. It has never been lack of feeling. What I'm seeing is a specific kind of fear that I want to name carefully because naming it accurately is what makes it understandable rather than simply frustrating. It is the fear of being fully seen, not by you exactly. Though that is part of it, the fear of being fully seen by life itself when you have made a real choice. Because there is a particular kind of exposure that comes with genuine commitment that doesn't exist in the space of almost commitment or undefined connection. When you choose someone fully, openly, without the protective ambiguity of keeping things unnamed, you become visible in a way that makes you vulnerable, in a way that nothing else quite replicates. This person has been standing at the edge of that visibility, feeling the warmth of what's on the other side of it, knowing that what's on the other side is what they want, and working through the particular courage required to step into it completely rather than continuing to exist in the safer, cooler space of not quite yet. That work is done. The courage has been found, not performed found, in the real interior sense of arriving at something through your own honest process rather than convincing yourself of something you don't fully feel. What exists in them right now is genuine readiness, the specific readiness that only comes after the fear has been fully faced rather than bypassed. And genuine readiness, the kind that has been through the fear rather than around it, produces commitment that holds, that doesn't waver when circumstances get complicated, that doesn't retreat when the vulnerability of being fully chosen becomes real, that stays because it was chosen from the deepest and most honest place available. That is what is coming to you. The third thing I'm seeing what this commitment actually looks like. I want to be specific about what I'm seeing because I think sometimes when we talk about commitment in a reading, it stays in the abstract. And what I'm seeing for you is not abstract, it has texture, it has shape, it has specific qualities that I want to describe so you recognize it when it arrives. The first quality is directness. What is coming is not going to be implied, not going to be communicated through behavior that you have to interpret or through gestures that could mean multiple things. It is going to be said clearly in words that don't leave room for the ambiguity that has been exhausting this situation. Someone is going to open their mouth and tell you in the most direct language available to them where they stand and what they want and what they are choosing. That directness is going to feel like water after a long thirst because you have been reading between lines for long enough. You have been doing the interpretive work of someone who has not been given clear information and has had to construct meaning from insufficient data. That work is ending. What replaces it is clarity so unambiguous that interpretation becomes unnecessary. The second quality is consistency. What I'm seeing is not a single significant moment that then returns to the previous pattern. It is a shift in pattern itself, a new way of showing up that reflects the decision that has been made. Action that matches words, presence that reflects intention. The specific quality of someone who has chosen you, behaving like someone who has chosen you, not occasionally, not when it's convenient, but as the new baseline of how they exist in relation to you. That consistency is going to take some getting used to because you've adapted, as people do, to the inconsistency of the previous pattern. Your nervous system has learned to operate in uncertainty. And when the uncertainty resolves, when what shows up is reliably, repeatedly, unmistakably the same thing, there will be a period of adjustment, of learning to trust the new pattern, of allowing yourself to rely on what is being offered rather than waiting for it to withdraw. Let that adjustment happen. It is healthy, it is appropriate. It is the specific recalibration that happens when something you've been hoping for actually arrives and you have to update your experience to match the new reality. The third quality is depth. What is coming is not surface commitment, not the kind that exists in labels and announcements but doesn't reach into the daily texture of life. It is the kind that shows up in the small moments, in the choosing you in ordinary circumstances, in the particular quality of someone who is in it fully, practically, with their actual time and attention and investment, rather than someone who has agreed to a concept while remaining emotionally unavailable. You are going to feel the difference between those two things immediately because you know what emotional unavailability feels like. You have experience of the gap between what is said and what is actually given. And what is coming has no such gap. What is said will match what is given. What is promised will match what arrives. That alignment between word and action, between feeling and expression, between internal truth and external reality is what real commitment looks like, and it is what is moving toward you. The fourth thing I'm seeing what changes in your life when this arrives. I want to show you what your life looks like on the other side of this commitment landing. Not in a grand, everything is perfect sense. In the honest, real, this is what actually shifts sense. The first thing that changes is the quality of your energy. Right now, and you may not be fully aware of how much this is true, a significant portion of your daily energy is going toward managing uncertainty, toward the low-level monitoring that happens when you care about something but don't have clarity about it, toward the interpretive work I described earlier, toward the particular kind of vigilance that comes with caring deeply in a situation that hasn't been defined. When the definition arrives, when the commitment is made and real and settled, that energy becomes yours again, all of it. And what you do with it, where you direct it, what you build with the attention and presence and investment that is currently going toward managing uncertainty, that is one of the most exciting things I see in the energy of your near future. The second thing that changes is your relationship with the future. Right now, the future is something you approach with a particular kind of careful hoping. You can see what you want it to look like, but you hold that vision loosely because holding it tightly without certainty that the other pieces are in place feels dangerous. You plan tentatively, you dream carefully, you let yourself imagine the future you want, but always with a slight hedge, a part of you that keeps one version of the plan that doesn't include the thing you most want, just in case. When this commitment arrives, that hedge becomes unnecessary. The future becomes something you can approach together, something you can plan without the careful, protective looseness, something you can build toward with the specific confidence that comes from knowing who is building it with you. That shift from careful hoping to grounded planning changes everything about how you inhabit your own life. The third thing that changes is the simplest and possibly the most significant. You stop waiting. The particular quality of suspension, of being in the in between, of knowing what you feel and not knowing if it is fully returned and chosen and real that ends. What replaces it is the specific piece of someone who is in something real, who knows where they stand, who has been chosen clearly and completely and doesn't have to wonder anymore. That piece is not small. For someone who has been in the uncertainty as long as you have, that piece is enormous. It is the kind of thing that changes the texture of ordinary days. That makes the morning feel different. That makes the quiet moments feel safe rather than anxious. That makes being in your own life feel like arriving rather than waiting. That peace is coming with the commitment as part of the commitment, inseparable from it. What I need you to know before it arrives. One thing, the most important thing, the thing that will determine how fully you receive what is coming. You are allowed to let this be real. I say that because I know you, not personally through the energy. And what I know through the energy is that you have a particular pattern when good things arrive after a long wait. A protective instinct that activates precisely when the thing you've been hoping for finally shows up, that looks for the catch, that finds reasons to keep one foot outside the door even after the door has been opened and held for you. That pattern served you. It protected you during the time when protection was what you needed. It kept you from giving everything to things that weren't giving everything back. But what is coming is giving everything back. And the pattern that kept you safe in the absence of real commitment will become the thing that prevents you from fully inhabiting real commitment if you let it run unchecked. When the commitment arrives, and it is arriving, let it be real, fully real, without the protective distance, without the waiting for the other shoe, without the preemptive hedging that keeps you safe from disappointment by never fully arriving in the good thing. Arrive in it. Let yourself be in it completely. Let the person who is choosing you feel chosen back fully, without reservation, without the slight withholding that uncertainty taught you to maintain. Let the future you've been carefully, loosely hoping for become the future you actually inhabit. You have waited long enough to be careful with your own happiness. This is the time to be generous with it. To yourself first, and then to the person who is on their way to you with a commitment that was never not going to be yours. It is coming, Virgo. Real, complete, everything you've been wanting it to be. And you, after everything, are completely ready to receive it. Come back and tell me in the comments what this brought up. Tell me what released in you while you were watching. Tell me whose face came to mind, because your words are what keeps this work alive. Subscribe to stay in the energy, and I will see you when the next thing moves.